Okay.
Alrighty then.
Then shoot.
So, the new Teho Teardo Blixa Bargeld album released worldwide yesterday.
Before you ask the first question, let me answer it.
Yes, sir.
Blixa is my real name. It doesn't get more real than that.
Right,
If you shout Christian on the street, I won't even turn around.
right.
And Mauro is also not Theo's real name because he hates it.
Okay,
That's why he calls himself Teho, because he hates to be called Mauro.
okay.
So what I found interesting in using these two names
Yeah,
was that they are conflictual names. Christian, as you say it in English, it sounds like this is my religion.
yeah.
And Mauro is the Moors, the North African Muslims.
Right.
So Christian and Mauro is a conflictual, polarizing kind of two names dropped there. It hasn't got anything really to do. We thought it's funny to call it that.
Right.
We didn't want to, because every interview that I've done so far about this starts with the question, so you use your real name?
Right.
No, this is not my real name.
Right. But you were gonna call Nerissimo Christian and Mauro, right?
Yeah,
Why
but
did you scrap that?
it didn't. I always think naming a record is best by choosing a track from the record.
Okay.
That's a classical way of
Okay.
naming a record. So
Okay.
so I choose. I thought Nerissimo was hitting is better than calling it Christian Mauro. Somehow Theo played a bit with the idea of, he liked the idea so much that he pushed for this record being called that. It hasn't got more justification of calling it that than any other
Okay.
record. So I
Okay.
wouldn't take it to. I just, as I said, I like the conflictual potential that is there. Christian e Mauro, the Moors against the Christians.
Okay.
That's.
Okay. I mean, Blixa, that's like a pen or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pen name, you might say, yeah. Andrew actually managed to, it was a felt pen in the 70s and early 80s, and it was called Blixa Color. And when I was trying to find a name for myself, I took the Blixa from the Blixa Color felt pen that I was holding in my hand. And Andrew managed this year to find somebody in Potsdam that has been given a whole set of these felt pens back in the 70s when the GDR still existed.
No way.
And he gave me a yellow one, and it still writes. I have it framed hanging on my wall now.
I mean, you've probably been asked this before, like, why did you choose that name? Is that back in the 70s when you just started?
It's already a loop.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a pen name for myself, and I choose the name of the pen. So
Okay.
that's the loop.
Okay, that's funny. So you guys started working on this album, it's been 8 years, I think,
Yeah,
since
but-
Nerissimo.
But it sounds wrong to say we've worked for 8 years on this. We haven't worked for 8 years.
No, how was the writing process?
We worked in 2018. Back then, that was before the pandemic. Back then, I thought Brexit is going to be the biggest catastrophe of my life. Nowadays, 2024, it doesn't look that big anymore.
No.
Many other things have happened, but we basically have worked 3 or 4 periods. We worked the one before the pandemic. That's where Stark Regen comes from, for example, the first song on the record. And then we worked at the tail end of the first pandemic wave, 2022. We worked on more things and had 2 more sessions. And then we finished this record in 2024 with still another set of that. There are probably as many unfinished pieces as there are pieces on the record.
Okay.
Usually the way we work is that, with exceptions, usually Theo is working on some idea, and I put some additional things on these ideas, and then we work together on how to finish that. We always work together. That's one thing. Like we're not working what is a sandwich method, like sending files back and forth and
Right.
it's not really what we do. He's recording sometimes in Rome and sends me his ideas, and then I start thinking about it. But then the actual process of working with this material is really me and Teho together, either in Rome or in Berlin.
Right.
And the stuff that Teho was coming up with in that middle period, means the period when the pandemic was just trying to go away, and the Ukraine war had already started, and all that. And I just noticed his stuff was getting so fractured. Everything was so fractured. Everything was broken. Everything was distorted. Everything was broken, and most of these things lost completely the sense of being a song. That I don't need song structure, but I need something to be singable. Or I mean, I can work with everything. My voice is fine for that. But I really hated the. I think it is something that was in the spirit of the times that really hit Teho as well. I know he had a lot of problems with his children in the same time, and then the Ukraine war started, and the pandemic, and you could hear it. You could hear it in the pieces that there is fractures, like broken bones. And then in 2024, suddenly he wrote completely different again. The things that he started were much more approachable for me, that I could hear them for the first time and say, yeah, okay, I can see where this is going. I can see, because it's never, not with Neubauten or with anything else, I hardly ever write lyrics to apply to music. I always listen to the music to find a lyrical solution within the music. And that worked fine with the 2022, 23 peak, 2023, 2024 pieces, than with the one that were, like, say, the middle period, like, pandemic period, because they were already soaked in war, and they were already soaked in there was less hope in it, and they were more fractured. Some of them made it on the record, like Libelle and Giant, Libelle and Gigant, or Rimangono. Rimangono is a translation of the German Bleib übrig. Bleib übrig, and Bleib übrig was a greeting, a German, that's not a fact very well known. It was a greeting amongst the ruins after Second World War. People greeted each other with Bleib übrig. Remain. Don't let yourself getting killed or disappear or whatever. Remain. In Italian, rimangono. So this you can see, that's middle period again. It's already the war found it's weird enough. I'm 65 years old. I was born in 1959.
Yeah.
I had never thought that war creeps so much into my existence, in my thinking.
Right.
Even I never really. I'm a typical peace child from after Second World War.
Right.
Yeah. And suddenly we're talking about weapons again, and we're talking about, and everybody is like, that's what I think there also. All these masters of weaponry, they rake their ugly heads again, and they talk about strategies and blah blah blah. And I never thought this is going to happen in my lifetime.
I know.
I never thought it's going to happen in my lifetime, and obviously it did. Yeah, and obviously we're still, and we have already fully accepted that this is there as a reality, and that this is not going to go away very soon.
Yeah. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to berate the point, but you talked about like you and Aaron have kids who are like half Chinese, and that also puts them and you in like a very strange position.
Yeah.
It's like within the community,
Yeah, sure. When I wrote Everything Will Be Fine.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last time. Yeah.
I really had a discussion with Aaron and said, fuck, where are we going to go next?
Right.
Where are we going to hide? Where is okay, well, these realities are there, and within that record, it spans an area of 8 years. It didn't mean that we had actually worked for it for 8 years. We had 3 or 4 sessions that we worked on, or a couple more maybe.
Right.
But they span a time of 8 years, and there's these 2 years that have been stolen from all of us.
Yeah.
Where that basically didn't happen. You know,
Right.
they disappeared from history. I told you before, at some point when the pandemic was just really hitting before vaccination, I went to Iceland because we seriously considered going to Iceland.
Okay.
My wife knew somebody that was running a private school in Iceland.
You mean just moving?
Yeah.
All right.
For the pandemic, to leave Berlin, going to Iceland.
Right.
And then, but my wife was so afraid of the coldness and the darkness.
It does get cold and dark for long periods. It does.
She can't even stand that in Berlin.
Yeah.
So,
No. She would fucking hate it.
And then when we saw the school wasn't finished. They were still doing the teaching in a container, standing on a court.
Okay.
So she has decided against it. But we went there. We stayed in a hotel at the Blue Lagoon, which was absolutely surreal, fantastic, and it was my second time that I've been on the moon, but it was great, yeah. But then we ended up actually going to Portugal instead, where my wife also knew somebody running a private school.
Right.
And
you stayed there for a bit.
We stayed there for a year.
Yeah.
We stayed there for a year, and the private school was British curriculum, but Portugal didn't let the British in to the country anymore at that time.
Oh, really?
So the school was completely empty.
Jesus.
It was my two children and 2 other children in the class. Four children in the class. That is not a very wide portal for the virus to get in, you know.
Right.
So we did stay there for a year, and then one day you get an SMS saying, "Come to this and this sports center at 2 o'clock this afternoon for your vaccination." Boom. That's how socialism works. So you go there, you get your vaccination. Not the question, do you want to or what? Blah. No, they just send you a message saying 2 o'clock, that place, vaccination. Boom.
Right.
I mean, you can decide not to go, but and what I even liked better was it's small village, you know, in the south of small city in the south of Portugal. Lockdown, restaurants closed, police is standing at the autobahn exits, etc., making sure that you have a reason why you're allowed to drive.
Right.
But you can ring a restaurant. They tell you what they have on the menu. Then you say, "Yeah, I have that and that and that." Then they call a taxi. They send the meal to your house. You pay for the meal. The city pays for the taxi.
No way.
Yeah, that's how socialism should work. Taxi drivers happy, restaurants happy, customers happy.
Right. I mean, everyone's talking about Portugal. I have a fiance, she's American, right? Yeah. We've been talking about moving to Portugal.
Yeah.
I was just talking to David Yao, the singer from the Jesus Lizard.
Yeah.
They're moving to Portugal, him and his wife.
Yeah.
So everyone's...
There's nothing wrong with Portugal.
No, it seems like the Sunshine State.
It's good. It's the poorest state in the European Union.
Okay.
Portugal.
Okay. Maybe that's why they want people there. Okay, so I heard or read that when you and Teho got together because you couldn't meet each other for like a big chunks of time, and you got back together and started rehearsing the songs you had written.
No, we don't rehearse anything that's written. It's only recording really.
Okay, but
it's not much rehearsing. The rehearsing we do before the tour.
Okay.
But in the process of making a record, there is not much rehearsing involved.
Or writing, or like you went back and sang these songs, and you approached them in a new way because you hadn't sung them in like a year or 2.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. Okay.
No, that's
scrap that
true.
then.
No, that's not true. This is I think at the latest sessions we did were in Berlin, and for the first one of these sessions I decided to bring in to rent instruments that I don't have, like a giant bass marimba. It's about from here to there.
Nice.
It's a gigantic instrument.
Was that like a new instrument you hadn't used before?
Well, I don't own a bass marimba.
You've never used it before, okay.
No, but I always wanted to do something with a bass marimba because it's
Okay.
just an outer worldly, deep. It's really funny. We record. So I rented a bass marimba. I rented tubular bells and all
Nice.
these things that I don't normally have.
Okay.
But and we had a lot of fun with that.
Okay.
And we recorded this Passacaglia. We recorded the 17th century street music. Passacaglia means, in fact, really means walking street. Yeah, it's a street musician kind of thing, and it's potentially endless. It's potentially the same pattern repeated, and going into the next street, and you repeat, and another verse, and another verse, and another verse. So we recorded this Passacaglia, called sometimes it's also called Passacaglia della Vita, but bisogna morire. We have to die. It's a dance of death, basically, and it's equalizing, so to speak. You know, it says the Pope has to die, the teacher has to die, the soldier has to die, everybody has to die. So it's not sad. But we played that on the bass marimba, the over and over, same pattern. Everything always ends with bisogna morire. Yeah? So every verse, every stanza has that ending to it.
Right.
And I just wrote, we used the best ones of all these stanzas in Italian, Teho chose them, and then I wrote new stanzas with all these new professions that were not around in the 17th century. TikTok dancers, influencers, talk show master, etc. CEOs, startup CEOs, hedge fund bankers, whatever.
Okay.
All these things, but everything to end also on rhyming on bisogna morire. So I wrote the stanzas in German, but they rhyme on Italian. So I wrote the whole thing. And today I had an interview on Zoom, and Theo showed me, because he bought. We can't take a bass marimba on tour. Then we would need an extra bass.
Right.
So he bought the 3 notes that we need, and they're about this size.
Okay.
And he played me the A, which is the highest of the 3 notes. He showed me on camera. Isn't it great? Nothing. Because Zoom can't handle the frequency.
It didn't register.
He just hit it over and over again, but it's below whatever Zoom can do.
That's fucking
I just
funny.
saw him and he said, "What? You can't hear it?" No. And the other interviewer also said, "No, I can't hear it." Nothing. And that was the highest of the 3 notes. Anyway, we bought the 3 notes, so we are able to play that thing on stage with the actual bass marimba thingies, but we have them as single notes.
Okay.
So we can actually do it.
Okay. In Dur's Mitch, you're thinking about the mythical keyboard that can play with like ciphers and letters.
There's something fucking wrong in the press text there.
What's the meaning? What's the meaning?
The meaning is metaphorical.
But I saw it in the
worked
lyrics
with
also.
Whoever wrote the press text,
Yeah.
and I assume it might be Elisabetta, who is Theo's wife.
Okay.
Who's an archaeologist, by the way.
Okay.
But somebody took it seriously that when I sing, I play on the claviature of my mythological.
Yeah, it's just the lyrics.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
I play with identities. I play with deities in a sense.
Okay.
In that particular song, I play with deities. I call myself a deity. I call myself. I say the dismembered Osiris can't sing anymore except through me.
Right. Okay.
So I play on the keyboard of my mythological instrument.
All right.
And somebody took it serious and thought, I have something in my computer, like an instrument where I play Miss.
Yeah, I was trying to ask my friend. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
No, it's a metaphor.
Okay, but it's really interesting and delightful to hear how your voice has aged since the 80s. It's definitely not the same Blixa that we had in the 80s. Like I told you the last time we spoke, like on Morning Dew from 5 on the open-ended Richter scale in 87, That's like the first view of the baritone crooner Blixa we see later.
No, yeah, it's not so much it's not so much the crooning. I mean, voice.
I mean, everyone's voices change, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
hear Bob
yeah,
Dylan
yeah,
in the
yeah.
60s and then Bob Dylan now.
Yeah, no, sure. And that's
But
what
like
it should
your
be.
voice has really matured in a really,
Yeah.
really,
And
really,
and
really
it's still,
good way.
and it's still changing. I had a concert in Copenhagen on this tour, and I couldn't sleep. I have real problems sleeping sometimes, and
Right.
I couldn't sleep. I was completely fragile, and suddenly my voice had. There is this thing that always tries to come through that I don't do deliberately, but I suddenly developed this weird end vowel vibrato. I never had a vibrato before, but now I suddenly seeing these things with plötzlich they suddenly have a vibrato in the end. There's so much that Felix Gebhardt, our keyboard player, said, your voice is so incredible tonight. You always had this bizarre vibrato and that. And this is the voice is a direct thing. I have quite a bit of control over my voice, but when I'm in stages like that, when I'm especially fragile, my control is waning.
Right.
And then suddenly I hear there are other things coming through, and there are other things. These are the changes that announce themselves as what will come next.
Right.
Yeah, and I noticed that been going on for the last 2 years. I know it's very much on the if you listen to like I shall sleep again one day or so, you can very clearly hear that. But I will sleep again one day. There's always this like bizarre ending to the syllables there.
Right.
But yeah, it's something that announces itself. That saying, okay, Blixa, here's your next stage. Here's the next thing coming. I just recorded an EP of Bowie songs,
Yeah, I heard.
but so far the Bowie estate have not been given the okay.
Really?
Yeah, they have
Is
not.
that his wife who's controlling it?
I think several people, quite certainly. The publisher, my publisher, is convinced that they will okay it.
Okay.
I know that Bowie liked me, so
yeah?
I appeared in his dreams. So now, yeah, he had a dream lock on his. He had a first block as a person, On David Bowie's network, he had his dream protocols, and I appeared several times in his dreams. So he must know me. He must have noticed me, and I know that he liked what we or I are doing. The reason they have not given me the okay so far is because I did a version of Subterraneans from the Low album, but I cut out the saxophone solo. I am personally a saxophone hater. I did actually sing the saxophone solo, but I later decided it's not even good when I sing it, so I cut out the whole thing. And that's why they say it's not a cover version, it is a work, and how do you call that? Eine Bearbeitung.
Okay.
Yeah, and Bearbeitung needs okay.
Okay.
So, but my publisher said it will come through. But when I sing these things, that I had somehow a Berlin connection to it. So I sang Heroes in Deutsch, Helden.
Nice.
And Where Are We Now? Which is also about revisiting Berlin.
Right.
And I sang Lazarus. And of course, I studied what he did there. I tried to make it justice, and I sang. And I noticed suddenly, wow, I can sing these things in a way that I would have not been able to sing like 10 years ago.
Right.
I am actually able to sing this in just justifying to actually doing it. I hope they're going to give me the okay, because it's beautiful. The record is beautiful because it's only piano and vocals.
Is it done? Are you just waiting for the clearance to get it out?
Yeah, it's done. It's complete. It's mixed. It's even mastered. Everything is
really.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's done, and it is. We found a piano in Berlin, a Fazioli, which is an Italian piano maker, the best of the best, the best of the best of the best. It's really grand piano. We pay 100 or 200,000 to buy the grand piano.
Yow!
And they had a studio. They had one in there, and this just doing a whole record with just piano and vocals. You don't even notice. That thing is so full and so gigantic that you. That's really good. Only vocals and piano. Several layers of vocals, and sometimes, but really good. Nice record. And I said all that because of voice and voice changes.
Yeah.
I would have not. I don't think I would have been able to sing something like Lazarus 10 years ago.
10 years ago even.
I can do now. And I also work, I know if you do know that, I also work with that Swiss band called Kiku.
Kiku. Yeah, you want to get them into the European Song Contest.
Yeah, I don't know if they've managed to do that. He's whirling around always in Taiwan or somewhere else. I don't.
Okay.
When I first told him I want us to get into the European Song Contest, he didn't even know what that is.
Ah, really?
I still, okay, I have said it many times.
Right.
I would have loved it. And that song is a killer.
Okay, I'm waiting to hear it.
It's a killer.
Okay, I don't wanna, we're up to 27 minutes, so.
Yeah, come on, boy.
Pardon me.
Go on.
Yeah, go on. No, I just want to, because you've been on the road over a month now, and you released now over 30 albums, Blixa.
30?
Over 30 albums of original material. I'm talking about the Grundstück and all of the albums, like the supporters albums.
Ah.
You know.
Was it that many? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's over 30 now of original material, and we're not talking singles, we're not talking the compilation, we're not talking strategies. 30 albums, okay. And you released Rampen last April, a double album, well over an hour of music of this completely original piece of work that just keeps giving by repeated listens. Like, we spoke last March, and then I just heard the albums a few times. I've been listening to it now for a few months, and it's amazing piece of work.
Good.
And it's nothing like I've ever heard, you know.
Good.
You must be happy with the result of that album.
Yeah. I am especially happy with the way we play this on this tour. The whole band seems to be in the best shape the band ever was, and it's fantastic.
You mean how you're playing it on this tour?
How we're playing this on this tour? Yeah. Okay. How we play this on this tour. Also, not just the material from that album, but how we play on this tour in general.
Right.
Is really satisfying for me.
Right.
And it is, even so, it seems to be a very short period. When I last toured in 2022, now 2 years later, still something very massively has changed. Something that probably was making itself known in 2022 already, but has come now to a completion. We have to not prove anything to anyone anymore. We are beyond good and evil. We are beyond that. We have a status that cannot be touched anymore.
Yes.
And that is really satisfying.
Yeah.
I just come out and I look at the audience, and then they're already standing up and everything. Everybody is happy that we exist and still play. Everybody seems to be happy about that, and that is deeply satisfying.
Yeah.
It's deeply satisfying. You
Yeah.
know? And we don't even play anything older than 24 years. We play the things that this particular incarnation of the band has created. Right. We don't go back to the old stuff. We don't play Yugung or anything. We play what this band has created and nothing else. Right. And we are alone with that. We are beyond good and evil, and that makes me incredibly happy. After we just played the last gig. Was it the last gig? Yeah, the last gig was Barcelona. Nick Cave played the same night.
Yeah.
So I could come out and say, look, I'm happy that you made the decision to be here.
Right.
Right, and it was exactly that. People were obviously had made the decisions. No, we're going to see Neubauten, not Nick Cave.
No,
and
Blixa, I don't mean to stroke your ego because I like Nick also, but comparing your stuff to the new Nick Cave stuff,
that's where it gets funny to me. I mean, I know him for such a long time.
I know.
But look, now in every review that you read, and everything is compared to Nick Cave celebrating a mass, and it is gospel. The big difference between Nick and me is Nick believes in God. I know I am a God. That is a big difference.
But you've kept it fresh through all of the years, and you had the guys back in the days, you know, and then you had like this tabula rasa, Marco goes out, and then Mufti goes out for Endurnoy, you still completed that, and then you get the guys in, Science is sexy, and Pet with the Model, alles wieder of it, and you just keep on going and making fresh stuff, and
we have completed especially another particular phase of this band, which is very much connected to my wife, to webmaster, to Erin.
Yes, it's what 2002.
She has. We did 5 rounds of the so-called supporter project. The invention of crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And we have finished it.
Yeah.
We are out of that now too.
The last time we spoke, you told me that you have a new.
It's not so much me. It's her.
Okay.
She has another idea.
She has no idea.
She has another idea how we continue.
You still can't talk about it.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Are you guys writing a new Neubauten album?
No. My wife has relocated with the children to Palo Alto.
Really?
Because of therapy, and they both go to Palo Alto High School right now, and I'm gonna join them in January.
Okay.
So it is dubious what is gonna be with Neubauten next. We might be touring South America in autumn 2025.
Okay.
But everything else is in the stars right now.
Okay.
Nobody knows how we're gonna continue. So there are some family troubles and arrangements that have to be taken care of, which let's say 2025 looks like hiatus to me.
Yeah.
Hiatus.
But not to put you on the spot, but I feel like you will just keep on going because you are like a true artist.
I don't think I will disappear that soon. No.
No, because like Blixa, I'm 36 years old. I've been listening to music and doing music since I was a kid, and you are one of these like truly original hardcore artist dedicated to the art.
Yeah.
And you're a true inspiration to artists all over the world.
Yes,
you know that.
Yeah, I do know that. It's good. It's good that it is like that.
Okay, I want to be mindful of our time. Thank you so much for taking the time,
Thank you. I hope that podcast is going to do as well as your last one.
Yeah, it's been doing really good. But
Excellent.
Yours did really good. Yeah.
Then I go back to the bus now.
Yeah.
Which is my home in the moment.
Okay. I'll see you at the concert.
Yeah. And I hope you enjoy it.